Hello, Joanna and everyone, and welcome to this wonderful platform where I am very honoured to be interviewing incredible people. Now, not just from the same industry, but from different industries and also internationally. Now, today I am joined by the wonderful and brilliantly resilient Joanna Rhodes of Hayford Rhodes. They are a London-based florist specialist working with very prestigious and high-end clients, and have worked at some of the most iconic venues nationwide, including Kensington Palace and other royal palaces, and also the National Portrait Gallery, to name a few. Now, Joanna has led this wonderful company for the last 13 years, and I was very lucky to come down to this beautiful studio, which, by the way, smells incredible and is absolutely stunning. And now today we have Joanna, and I'm going to be interviewing you for the next however long to share some wonderful insights. Now, how are you, Joanna? How's things?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You're very, very welcome. It's lovely to be joined by you. And Joanna, now you have got a robust mindset. You have very kindly shared with us in your bio how you have overcome the challenges of your dyslexia, but then how you went on to get first class honours in your art degree, and how you also launched a business during the recession. So how can that grit and determination bring you into, today's situation? How are you tapping into that to, deal with the lockdown? What's it been like?
Well, I think it's really interesting. I think the only thing that I can really compare the lockdown is the recession. It felt very similar. With the recession, we got phone calls after phone calls of things cancelling, and that was very much similar with the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of those things where you're kind of preparing yourself and looking ahead to what you can do for your clients.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you have to be really conscious with. And I'm sure it's the same for you, Emily. It's about your customer journey and how you can look after all your clients the best that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we definitely realized as a business is we're very much renowned for our customer service and that journey. So we tried to speak to all our clients as clearly as possible what we were doing and what we were trying to do. Mm-hmm. It was actually the first time that Hayford Rhodes actually shut shop. Wow. Since the Second World War, because we were established in 1924. Yeah. So for us to shut shop was quite a big deal. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have asked me, why did we do that? Yeah. And for me, the unknown, trying to care and manage my team was the most important thing. And to safeguard, obviously the staff, but also we were going into a lot of personal spaces and businesses, and that's something that we had to be really conscious of. Mm-hmm. But I think with the recession, it definitely made me realize that we had to adapt, mm-hmm. Which I'm really pleased. At that point, when I took over the business, it was very heavily corporate, just London delivery service and office arrangements. And so I then started looking at, I had a large bank, I won't mention the name, who got very upset when we couldn't deliver some flowers outside of London. Wow. And one of the big CEOs was so disappointed with the flowers that they received, going through another company. They said, well, we will organise a courier to take your flowers to their home address. And then I thought, well, hang on a second. If they can do that, then surely we can. So we were one of the first florists to do nationwide delivery. Yeah. So I'm really proud that we do that. And it's great that we've got that facility. But with the recession, I really started focusing on weddings and events, which was like a new umbrella. And now we're renowned as being one of the top events and weddings florists in London. So, and that was my real challenge, I call it, was to become known to all the unique venues of London and to become accredited with them and their other suppliers. And that was really a focus for over 10 years to get where we are today. So, and I think that's going to now lead on with the COVID. It's just looking at what you've got and how you can mold it and adapt it for your clients for that time. So, yeah.
Wow, that it just shows you've got such a personable character as well, Joanna, and I know from you're welcome, and the team as well. It's echoed through the team, and I remember you always get a sense of a business when you walk into the environment or the space where they work. And I remember coming into your environment and how everybody works, and it's a very warm and welcoming space. And I can absolutely just imagine how you've taken that and you translated that right now at this time, you know, through the phone and through the calls with the clients. And I would feel, you know, had I been in receipt of a call like that, if you know, we were one of your clients in an office space or somewhere that, you know, had regular corporate deliveries of your beautiful flowers, and then I had a call that was first off assuring me as to how you're putting the health and safety of your team at the heart of your decision making, and then second of all how you were also looking after your clients and assuring them how you were going to respond during this time. And that time back during the recession, it just shows how you've got that mindset to adapt. And I think that that is the key here, that by adapting, by making your purpose with what you do with your business about your clients and also the welfare of your staff, to me, where else would you actually want to go to buy beautiful flowers? Because I do think it is about that relationship, and you've got that and you've nurtured that, and I think that came across from what you've just shared with us, definitely.
Yeah, I think it is. It's all about that customer journey, and that's what we're all about. So I take huge pride in that communication. Definitely take that advice. It's all about how you treat your clients and how you want to be treated yourself. You know, it's very frustrating if you order something and it's not what you want to receive. You want to know that you're in safe hands, especially when you're liaising with some of the top clients within the industry. They want to know that you're being looked after, and that's what we do. So
you certainly do. And I don't think that a recent partnership would be there if you were anything other than the way in which you work. And I know it's recently with Goldborn Events, and you're doing some wonderful work together. And I know that's one thing that has come about during this period. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Joanna?
Yeah, so we do a lot of gifting for clients, and especially for their market, the private market. They really wanted to be able to organise gifting for really when they were meant to be celebrating for parties and they haven't been able to. So they came up with this great idea about kind of party in a box, and, you know, being able to offer and adapt kind of different gifting. So we've done some beautiful bouquets, chocolate, champagne. Randomly, we sell honey to gin, which is great. But one thing that I really wanted to kind of focus on is when we have those intimate dinner parties where we can have little celebrations again, which I'm so excited about. And, you know, to feel part of that process. So we've got these beautiful like trinket bud vases that you can put down the table, and you can cut the stems, and we kind of give guidance of how to create the perfect tablescape. So you feel like, you know, you are the florist yourself, but with a lot of heavy guidance by Hayford Rhodes, making sure you've got the best peony on the table. There was an article in the Telegraph. It's like, yeah, you can buy flowers, but we're talking about premium flowers, you know. You want the best quality. Yes, you can get a rose, but if you come to a specialist like us, it's A quality, and it'll be 3-4 times the size. And that's where you really want to show off to your guests that you can get those premium flowers, and that's what we can do. So
You do, and anybody out there who has not heard of Hayford and Rhodes, absolutely go and look at their gorgeous flowers and presentations, because, and that was one of the things that drew me to you, because you're not just are you a wonderful team of staff, and led by yourself, Joanna, very personable, a very real and honest and genuine person, but your product also is incredible. And I love how you've created vase gifts. They're gorgeous, and we've partnered with you on your beautiful botanical gift sets, where you've got the boxes and it's like a secret garden, and it has the Warner Edwards gin in and the champagne and all of those beautiful chocolates and everything, and they are stunning. So yeah, it's I love how you've created and taken that further with the vase sets, and making that gorgeous arrangement on your table and becoming the florist, like you say. And it has been about that, hasn't it, getting people to be more hands-on during this time when you're in the home.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are actually wanting to learn something new. Some of my team have been doing embroidery, and some have really taken to gardening, which I'm really amazed about. I do believe that you want to come out of this lockdown going, do you know what? I've learned this. And, I'm really excited. We've been, sharing tips online. But also I'd really be keen to open up that people can do flower courses from home. And you could do it as a group of friends or a group of colleagues, and that is available. And I think, you've got to make it fun, make it special and personable to you. And that's where we can really pull on that. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's creating something beautiful in the home. And I mean, whilst you've been at home, Joanna, I've been asking everybody, what's been your guilty pleasure?
I love baking, and I've got 2 kids, so it's always a bit crazy. And by the afternoon, it's kind of, oh my goodness, no more homeschooling. What can we do? We either go for a bike ride or we do baking, and I've eaten a lot of cake, so that's definitely been my guilty pleasure. But one thing I've really enjoyed on the bike rides is there's been so much elderflower, and I have made so much elderflower cordial. It's ridiculous. And it's so easy to make. And I'm like, why have I not done this before? It's a great little refreshment, but you can make a lovely gin and tonic with a bit of elderflower,
Like
bit of champagne and elderflower. So I'm like, this is great. And I kind of show off that I've been making things to friends and run a business and homeschool. So loving the elderflower cordial.
High fives all round. That sounds great. I think in our garden we've got an elderflower tree or bush, or it's massive. It starts off as these small little wooden stubs, and then all of a sudden it grows like, I don't know, Jack and the Giant Beanstalk would have done. It's huge. And so I'm going to have to get a recipe off you, because I have to say I've never done anything with elderflower before. So I'll be looking to you for the recipe.
It's prime time. But the funny thing is, the one thing that you do need, which you probably won't have in your cupboard, is citric acid.
No, I don't.
You can get it in any pharmacy. But when I went into the pharmacy, I said, can I have some citric acid? She went, what is going on? You're the 5th person to ask for citric acid. I was like, let me tell you, they're making elderflower cordial. So easy. It's literally like 25 heads of elderflower, 2 bags of sugar, 2 lemons, and 85 grams of citric acid. Boom, done.
You've heard it here first, guys. Go make your elderflower cordial now. That sounds perfect. And with those innovations and with all of these things that are happening in the home, Joanna, what have you seen in the industry that has really, caught your eye? What's been happening, whether it's in this country or another country, but industry wide within, the beautiful flowers and floristry of work? Is there been a new innovation or something that's really stood out to you?
I think one thing that's really stood out to me is, one, it is quite a competitive market. But the lovely thing for me is that actually a lot of competitors, we've all reached out to each other for guidance.
That's lovely.
And it's times like this where I do think that you you know, you've really got to be open.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard when you're striving so hard to be the best,
Yeah.
but actually to share and to give and to help others is paramount.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, I think when you run your own business, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Emily,
Mm-hmm.
it can be quite lonely at the top.
Yeah.
And I've really appreciated that, you know, actually some of my core competitors, it's like, Joanna,
Mm-hmm.
you know, don't worry, enjoy this time with your children.
Mm-hmm.
To, oh gosh, I wish that we did gifting online like Hayford Rhodes. Can you give me some help and guidance of where do you source your packaging from? How do you do the nationwide? And if there is anything that I can do to support others, I will do it. It's not going to be an easy ride for anyone. So I do believe if you give, you will get something back. And I do think you need to be really like, stay honest to your brand, and really just help one another. So that's one of the main things. But talking about new ideas, a lot of people in our industry, we are creative. So I think we're all desperately searching about what we can do. But I think there's one thing that I've tried to say to myself is just be really careful that you don't diversify too much in what you're good at. I think you've got to remember this is what we're renowned for, is for flowers.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you can get a bit lost kind of going off in different directions. So just make sure you stay true to what your brand stands for. But yeah, I think digital, like being more digital aware. You know, if you haven't got a new website, this is the perfect time to be working on it. But a lot of people with the venues that I work quite closely with are doing virtual tours. For me, I think that's quite sad, that I like to be able to feel, touch and smell, and that's really important to me, and that's what makes me happy. But if this is something that I need to engross myself more into, I will do it. I'm working with some of the key suppliers, you know, in production and doing webcasts and things like that, then I'm happy to explore that. But I do really hope that's just for the short term, not the long term. But I think you've got to see it as different waves of how your industry is working. So I've kind of thought about what can we do for now, for the short term, and then the medium. And then I've got some crazy ideas for Christmas. And I was like, how can you be thinking about Christmas now? But I think you do need to. So yeah, so no, I would say that, sorry, I've kind of diversified a bit. I would probably say about the digital side has been really talked about quite a lot. But I hope it's not for too long.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas, that's next week, isn't it, or something? I know we've got our Christmas brochure, and it's just finding the right time as to when that will launch. So I know what you mean, where there's the thought processes and looking forward to the future. And it is interesting having that digital and that real world. And I don't know, there's a company called Houzz, Houzz, and on that particular website, they have everything. You look at a picture of a room and you can touch on, or tap on the screen as it were, onto each item, and it'll have a little tag on it. So it'll tell you the price of the item, but then you can touch on it and it'll tell you where the item's from. So it's like a virtual room. So I'm just wondering, as soon as you said that about the flowers, and if you know, it's lovely how they're doing those virtual tours for the interim, like you say, but the physical to come back when it does come back. I wonder if there's a way you could house the webinar or the tour where someone could touch on the screen to see where those flowers are from, and a little tag comes up and it says Hayford Rhodes. That'd be really cool. Sorry,
yeah,
just
I think
loud.
I mean, interestingly, you know, I think it was Milan who business development for the Royal Palaces, and he was talking about how actually talking about individuals actually going to live events, will they want to? And actually giving that option that they can do it virtually or they can attend. So I think that's also going to probably be like another phase of where you're kind of encouraging people to go to the event, but it's not seen that you necessarily have to go, and that you could do it from home. So I do think it's really interesting, but I don't know if I sit in the old school of I just want the events to come back. But yeah, I do think it's amazing what is available. And if we could do that where you could actually touch the flowers, virtually would be incredible.
And the thing is, I mean, flowers are such a physical item. So, and the smell and just, you know, it's very tactile. You do want to be, you know, I would say that nothing digital will ever replace that, will it? When it comes to something like the beautiful arrangements and flowers as they are in their physical form. And it's interesting how there's this third
And
version.
the seasons as well. Like, I think if you, sorry, I just interrupted you, but, you know, organise something and you go, oh yes, you know, peonies are in season, but they're out of season by the end of this month. So it's almost like you want it to be instant to what's available now. And I think the minute you start going down that virtual, there's always going to be some form of delay, or not seem as personal.
Yeah, it's this third version, isn't it, where the first one pre-lockdown was everything physical with whatever online presence was there at the time, and then now it's all very digital, very online. And then this third version, like you mentioned, Joanna, about how they're blending and merging to have the option to go to something in person, but if health doesn't permit, for example, or, you know, some people who can't go digitally, I mean, it might be even whatever flowers are there physically, they could even buy to have them sent to them. There's so many ways, isn't there? It's incredible. Totally. Gosh, I feel like a big whiteboard and draw loads of things off.
Well, this is literally, I had a large corporate company and they wanted to send for all their CEOs, they're having a dinner party virtually, and wanted to send tablescapes to all their houses. And we could do that. So they all felt they were together. Incredible. They're having the same food, same flowers and same wine. And isn't that lovely that you can do that?
Oh, it's beautiful. And the idea that something unites you that is physical and it gives them something to create as well, because they're going to make that tablescape beautiful and have all the vases how they want it positioned. But like having the same food and the wine, something like that, even though they have to share it digitally, it really does bring that sense of community together. And it's that balance, isn't it? And I wonder if, you know, you had to write out how many ways you can achieve the physical and the digital balance in any given scenario. I wonder what that would look like and how many different options and opportunities that might create, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I do think it's interesting as well that when I have flower classes, they all have the same flowers. But when they start making, they all do something totally different, and how yes, they look similar, but actually look at them and go, oh my goodness, you can see all of their different personalities, and so much comes to light just by looking at the displays. But they're all identical flowers, but it's just how they arrange them. I really like that. And you can tell a lot by a person by how they arrange. You know, it's really messy and they get it everywhere. And some people are very neat and methodical. And you're like, oh my God, I can tell, your role within your business. I know exactly what your role is. And it's yeah. And I like to tweak here and there, not like I'm a control freak. So.
No, it's assisted guidance. That's what it is. Assisted guidance. It's fine. I like that. Just learning the personalities of people. It's very telling.
Oh, incredible. Yeah. Well, I like to talk, if you hadn't noticed, Emily. So normally when people come in for a flower class, they don't go home, or they can just, they say, can we just stay? And I'm like, go on then, just stay.
Bring your elderflower cordial, then it can turn into a gin evening.
Well, this is it. Yeah, bring it on.
Absolutely. And, going forward, Joanna, what would you love for Hayford and Rhodes to look like? If you could jump forward 6 months or even a year, how do you see it? What's the vision? What does this all look like to you and the team?
Oh, do you know what? That's a really interesting one. And I think at times like this, people want to, conquer the world. But actually for me, I think it's maybe changed my vision a bit of Hayford Rhodes, that actually I want it to become more personable, probably. I want to have stronger relationships. So I think I'm at the stance of actually maybe, and this is quite, a big turning point for me, that maybe I'm not so interested on, the increase of turnover and things like that, but actually I want to enjoy those customer journeys more, and it being more, personable, really. So if anything, I'd like to make it more unique, more of a speciality, rather than for, on a larger scale. So I think that's what I would like to do.
That's really powerful, and I think that that will have really assured a lot of people, because I have to be honest, I've had similar thoughts as well as to how I have actually, and it's become more about how do I actually want to spend my time, and if I spend that time there, what comes out of that. And I do think it's, for me, I felt much the same as you, Joanna. So I'm sharing that with you purely because I know that you've gone out on a limb in the interview to share that, and I didn't want you to think that you were alone in thinking that, because actually it's about people, isn't it? And I do think this time that we've had has made us, or allowed us to stop and think about those things, hasn't it?
I think I've been in the industry for 13 years, and whatever way you look at this, yes, COVID's here. People say, well, it was time for another recession anyway. So I feel like I've kind of come full circle. I've done one big loop. And I do think it's really important that you've got to stay honest to yourself. And, I do really want to nurture those relationships. And I've always pushed so much to get, increase that turnover year on year. And it's great when you do it. It's incredible. We've done some amazing events, unbelievable. But actually, I think I just want to enjoy the journey more rather than what's next. I want to enjoy it more. I've got the big 4-0 next year, so.
Oh, that's amazing. How
I want to, I just want to enjoy the process a bit more. It's funny when you're in the event industry, you're always like, oh gosh, another event, but now I'm like, I just want the event, just one event, it'll be fine. But it will come back. But,
it will. Absolutely. And last but not least, and it's been such a pleasure speaking with you, Joanna, what hacks or advice would you give to anybody who is listening to this interview right now, be it personal, business? What's one lovely piece of advice that's right from the heart that you would give?
Yeah, totally. A lot that I have learned, especially within this lockdown. Treat people the way that you would like to be treated. I can't stress enough. You only have one stab of your life, and I do believe that you should treat everyone the way that you'd like to be treated. And that's personally, work-wise. I kind of merge the two very much, which is lovely. And I do really believe that you've really got to nurture every relationship that you've got. That's really, really important.
Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing that. Joanna, it's been a delight. I've loved speaking with you, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, we'll definitely have to organise some elderflower gin and tonics or cocktails after all of this craziness. So thank you so much for having me. And if I can be of any more assistance, you know where I am.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, and take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will absolutely be talking more things off camera, all things gin, elderflower, and everything else. It sounds Thank you so
Oh,
much.
oh,
Take
well,
care.
all right, take care. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.